This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we started with object-oriented programming, where we discussed about how to create a class and how to create object for a class and how to access that members of the class using object. A small question: whenever we create new object for a class, what values are given to the data members?
Default.
Yeah, default values. Right. Now, what is a constructor? How will you define a constructor? How it looks?
It looks like a class name.
Yeah, but what it is actually?
It's a method.
It's a method.
It is a method, right? It is a method. We have to say it is a method whose name is same as the class name. It's a method whose name is same as the class name, used to initialize the object and does not return anything, not even void. Right. So today let us move to the next two topics today. Today our objective is to discuss two topics. One is static keyword and one more is packages. So let us initially go with static keyword. Static keyword can be used for data members, methods, and inner classes. The meaning of inner class is a class within a class. Class within a class is called as what? Inner class. The static keyword cannot be used for a top level class. The meaning of top level class is outer classes. Up to now, whatever the classes we have created, all are outer classes only, that we call top level class. We cannot use static keyword for top level class. Like example, if I use static keyword for a class like my class, this will go with error. So for a class, we cannot use static keyword, but for inner classes, we can use static keyword. Okay. Static keyword cannot be used for a local variable. How to identify local variable? Declared within a method. When you declare any variable within a method, we call them as local variable. Like example, if you take a method like xxx, inside a method, if you create any variable, then we call it as local variable. We call it local variable. And if I use static keyword for local variable, then this will go with error. This will go with what? Error. And the message is local variable and local variable cannot be static. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Fatima.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. So just we started with static keyword. So we can use static keyword for data members, methods, and inner classes. The meaning of inner class is a class within a class. We cannot use static keyword for top level class, means outer class. And we cannot use static keyword for local variable. Then, first of all, what is the use of static keyword? Static members are accessible directly with the class name. Static members are accessible directly with the class name without creating objects. So whenever you want to access static members, object creation is not required. And this point does not mean that objects cannot access static. Even objects can also access static members. Objects also can access static members. Then, one more important point, a static method can access only other static members directly. So if you are having a static method, in that we can access only static members. Non-static we cannot access. I'll discuss this point in the program. Then one more last and important point. This is the major one. A static variable acts as a global variable within class. A static variable acts as a global variable within class. Means all objects of the class can access static variable memory. All objects of the class can access static variable memory. So this point I'll be elaborating in the program. Let us understand all these words using a program.
One question here.
Yes, Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
So I would like to understand the purpose of the static members.
Static members means a static variable or static method. This is a
No, the
static
purpose. Yeah, I understand this. The members and the
member. But what is the
methods
need of
and-
using static keyword? You
Yeah,
mean to ask?
that is the question.
This is a major point, right? Static members, we can access them with a class name. We can access it what? With the class name without creating object. So object creation is not required whenever you want to access static member. Okay.
The main significance is this one.
This one, and this is one significance, and one more this one also.
Okay.
Okay, I'll elaborating you. I'll take one more good example why we go for static also. Okay, Ravi. Right?
Sure.
Once we see the example, you'll get good idea. Now, let us understand with the program. I'll take one more scenario to understand more about static also. Hello, Rajesh.
Hi.
Yeah, hi Rajesh. So we just started
Today
with static keyword.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Just a minute, everyone. Just a minute. I'm back here. So let us understand more of static keyword using a program. Rajesh, I'll be elaborating all these words in the program again. Right click on project and see. New class, static demo with main method. Now, here in this one, let us take a class my class with a data member M. Now, if I want to access M outside of my class, what we need to create?
Object.
Object. We need to create what? Object. Only by using object we can access M outside of my class. That's the reason this variable we call it as instance or non-static variable. We even call it as non-static variable. If you take any variable with a keyword before static, before the variable, if I use static keyword, can we access static with the class name outside of class?
Yes.
That's right. That's the point I've given. So static members are accessible outside of class with the class name also. That's the reason we call this variable as class or static variable. Whenever we use static keyword, just remember it is a class variable. Now, let us take a method xxx. Then this method we call it as instance. No static keyword means instance or non-static method. And in this method, we'll say m equal to 10 and n equal to 20. Now, let us take one more method, static void y. And this method we call it as class or static method. And in this static method, if I try to give value to n as 30, m as 30 and n as 40, do one small observation. See, under M, we are getting compile time error. Line number 12, we are getting compile time error because M is what here? Non-static. But what is the point I've given? A static method can access only other static directly. So inside a static method, if I try to access non-static, this will go with error because non-static variable M cannot be accessed from static context. Cannot be accessed from static context. Okay, this line will go with error. That is last but one point. Now let us take a method display. Now in this display method, we'll just print the value of M and N. M equal to the value of M, then space, N equal to the value of N. Now coming to main method, we are creating object of my class MC1 equal to new my class. Then by using MC1 object, we are calling XXX method. When you call XXX method using MC1 object, the value of M and N will become 1020. Remember that. Now by using MC1 object, if I call display method, then what is the output we get here? M equal to 10, N equal to 20. Hope no confusions up to here. Now let us create one more object. I am creating one more object of my class. Understand here, this is the important thing to discuss. We are creating one more object of my class. Now by using this object, if I directly call display method, then what is the value of M and N will be here? What is
Default.
the value of M and N? Yeah, we think of default value, but let us understand what will be the output here. So let us understand what will be the output. Let me elaborate. So maximum, we think that default value, but the output is different here. So that's the main thing to discuss. Now understand carefully. Whenever we create an object of a class for the first time, the class will get loaded into the memory. The class will get loaded into the memory first. When the class gets loaded into the memory, it is going to allocate memory for static variables first. It's going to allocate memory for static variables first. In this program, in this my class, how many static variables are there?
One.
Only one, right? So it's going to allocate memory for static variable N, and referred with class name. Static variables are referred with the class name. So it is going to allocate like this. My class dot N, whose value internally default 0. Then after that only, after allocating memory for static variables only, then only it's going to allocate memory for your object. Then only object will get created. Then it's going to allocate memory for instance variables. So in my class, how many instance variables are there? Only one, M. Then it's going to allocate memory for M variable referred with object name. Initial value will be 0. I'm repeating once again. Whenever we create new object for a class, it's going to load the class first. Then it's going to allocate memory for static variables first. Static variables are referred with the class name. After that only object will get created. Then it's going to allocate memory for instance variables, and for instance variables it's referred with object name. So two memories will get allocated when an object of a class is created for the first time only. Now when you call the method mc1.xxx, it will go to xxx method. Who is calling xxx? MC1 object. So for MC1 object, M will become 10 and N will become 20. The value of N will become 20. Now when you call the method mc1.display, so it's printing say 10 and 20. Now when you create object for the my class second time, when you create second object for my class, since the class is already loaded in the memory, this memory will not get allocated once again. For static variables, the memory will not get allocated once again. So it's going to allocate memory for only instance variables now. So it's going to allocate memory for only instance variables referred with object name mc2.m, and the value is 0. Now you see the output. When you call mc2.display, then what is output now? What is the value of M and N for mc2 object?
0 and 20.
020.
0 and 20. 0 and 20. That means this memory, static variable memory, is used by your MC1 object, and this memory is even used by your MC2 object. Means there will be only one memory for static. When you use static keyword, there will be only one memory for the complete class, and all objects of the class can access that memory. It's like a global. It's like a global memory for static. Got it, everyone? When you want to make something global to all objects of your class, we think of static keyword. Clear, everyone, about static keyword?
Yes.
Right? I'll take one more example also on this, when to think of static keyword. Okay. For now, coming to this program, what will be the output we get here? M is 0 and N is 20. Now let us call the method mc2.yyyy. When you call the method yyyy using mc2 object, the value of n will become what now? 40. Now if you call the method mc1.display, then what is the output? M equal to M equal to
10 and 20.
10. What about n?
40.
40. Now we should say 40, because when you called mc2.yyyy, the value of n has changed to what now? 40. So the value of n has become what now here? It has become 40 now. It has become 40, and this 40 will remain same for MC1 object also. That's the reason we are getting n as 40, common value. Now, if you call MC2.display, for MC2 m is 0, but what about n? It has become 40. Then, if you call myClass.n equal to 50, since n is static, we can access with the class name also directly. We can access them directly with class name. Now the value of n has become 50. Now if you call the method mc1.display, then for mc1 m is 10, n has now become 50. If you call mc2.display, for m is 0, but n has become 50. Common value for all objects. Same output what I have given in comments. Right? Clear, everyone? When to think of static keyword?
Yes.
Right? Let me take one more example to understand when to think of static keyword. Let me take one more example. Let us suppose we are having a class student where we are going with roll number, name, and college name. College name. I'm giving college name as XYZ College. XYZ College. There. Now we are creating objects of student class like this. Student S1 equal to new student. Then student S2 equal to new student. And like that we are creating 100 objects. Student S100 equal to new student. Then how the memory gets allocated, observe here. So here, whenever we create object of student S1, then how the memory gets allocated? It's going to allocate memory for roll number, name, and college name. So how the memory will be? It is referred with object name S1 dot roll number, then S1 dot name, then S1 dot college name. Yeah, please mute. Right? Now, for college name, already we have provided the value, so it's going to store it as XYZ College. There. Now, whenever we create one more object S2, then again it's going to allocate memory for your roll number, name, and college name. So it's going to allocate memory for roll number, name, and college name. So referred with object name, that is S2 dot roll number, s2 dot name and s2 dot college name. Now, similar way, when you create 100 object, then again it's going to allocate memory for your 100 object also, where it's going to allocate memory for roll number, name and college name, like this. S100 dot roll number, S100 dot name and S100 dot college name. And what is the college name we have given? XYZ college. So in this example, is the college name common for all the objects here, all the students? For all the students, is the college name common?
Yes.
Right? So is it allocating 100 memory locations for college name in this example?
Yes.
Yes, right? It's allocating 100 memory locations for college name, which is waste of memory for us. Then to reduce that memory, what you do is just to use a keyword here, static. For college name, if I use static keyword, then what will happen now? How many memory locations will it allocate for college name now? Only one memory location. It's going to allocate only one memory location for college name and referred with the class name. So like this, student dot college name, and the college name is XYZ college. And this memory can be used by your S1 object, S2 object and even S100 object. So there will be only one memory for college name, and that can be used by all the students of your college. Clear all of you that when to think of static keyword now?
And if any one of the object changes the value, other objects also will have the same value, right?
Right. That's the meaning here. Something common for all, like similar to global variable concept here. Okay. That is one use. One use is related to memory. When you want to make something common to all objects, static keyword. Then one more use, I said, static members are accessible directly with the class name, right? We can access directly with the class name. So some of the cases where I want to make my class name to access the members. And one more good example on this one is, if whenever you want to display messages onto the screen, what we use? System.out.println, right? We use system.out.println. Then now how the system class looks? Class system, it contains a data member out. I've already explained at the beginning. It contains the data member out, and it's of what type here? Print stream. It's of type print stream. Now let us understand this. If I want to act and print stream, class print stream contains println method. It contains a method println. Now since I want to display onto the console, compulsory I have to use system class. Now I want to call println method. I don't want to directly go with print stream. I want to call with system only, because when I use system only, it can be displayed on screen. Then what is a way? What is a way to call println method? Forget about static keyword. If you are not having static keyword, I want to call println method. Then what is the solution? I have to create object of system class, right? First, I have to create object of system class. Then now by using object of system class, we can access out. Now we can call println method. Agree with this?
Yes.
If there is no static keyword, if I want to display a message onto the screen, I should call println method of print stream class, but that should be accessed only by using out object of system class only. Okay. Then if I want to call println method, first of all, I have to create object of system class. Then by using this object, I can go to this outer member. Then I can call println method. So only to display message on screen, I need to write 2 lines of code. Then is it good? Only to display messages on screen, writing 2 lines of code, is it a good idea programmatically?
No.
No, right? It's not a good way of developing a programming language. Okay. Then the solution, what they have done is, just they made this one as static. So when they make it as static, do I need to create object of the class?
No.
No, object creation is not required. So without creating object, then I can access this out directly. How to access? With class name. Now I can access out with class name. Now see, only one line of code is doing the task to print a message on screen. That's the reason they made it as static. So when you want to make something to be accessible directly with the class name, then also we can make use of which keyword? Static keyword. Got it, everyone? The need of static keyword practically.
Yes.
Right? Clear, Ravi? Your question?
Yeah, got it.
Right? So many places we use static keyword, just it's a beginning only now. Let us move to the next one. Next topic here, packages. Why we create folders in our system?
For simplifying.
Simplification, and one more, like to store related files, right? To store related files. By seeing the folder name, we can know what type of files the folder contains. Like example, like we can see songs, videos, then we can see movies, then softwares, games. So by seeing the folder name, we can know what type of files the folder contains. Similar way, package is also like a folder only. It contains collection of related classes. It goes with what? Collection of related classes. You can say like how to define a package is like a package is a collection of related classes. Generally, we store .class files. A package contains .class files. Once we compile a Java program, we get a .class file, and that .class files are generally we keep it in package. Then, how to create a package is package keyword is used to create a package. Like example, package and the name of the package. And the standard what we follow for package name is smaller case letters. Whenever we go for package name, smaller case letters. It's a standard, means not a syntax rule. The package statement should be the first statement in the source code file. In the source code file, package statement should be the first statement. Like this example, if you take a source code file like x.java, the first statement should be package and the name of the package. After that only we can go with imports. We can have multiple imports. After that only classes. So the order of writing a Java program is first we go with package, then imports, then classes. We can have only one package statement. We can have multiple imports, multiple classes. So package statement should be only one. That means in a source code file, we can have only one package statement. The next important point, the classes under the package. In our example, what are the classes under package? A and B. The classes under the package are stored in a folder whose name is same as the package name. So what is going to happen? Once the program gets compiled, it's going to create a folder for you, mypack. That's the reason I said package means folder only. It's going to create a folder mypack, and in that mypack, a.class and b.class will go and store. Only public classes are accessible outside the package. Only public classes are accessible outside package. If I want to use a class outside of mypack, then the class must be what? Public. To use the classes of one package into another package, we need to import the package. We need to what? Import the package. Like example, we can say import mypack.a. Then we can use A class. Import mypack.b. Then we can use B class. Or we can even say import mypack.star. Star indicates all classes under mypack. Okay, that's the reason when we are using scanner class, what we have done, import java.util.scanner means scanner is a class belongs to util folder and util is a folder belongs to Java folder. So the structure will be like this. We will be having Java folder. Under that it contains util folder. Under util folder it contains scanner class. That's the reason we are writing import java.util.scanner. So it will go to Java folder first. It will go to Java folder first. From Java folder it will go to subfolder util. Under that it will go to scanner class.
So one question here.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
I understood that scanner is a class method. Oh, sorry, method, and
It's
under
a class.
that, okay, sorry, a class. But trying to understand Java or util is a package. What is
Right.
which?
Right. Java.util is the package. So we have to say scanner is a class present in java.util package. This is the way we should write.
So we
It's
can
not
create a package name with period as a differentiator.
Yes. When I use dot, what will happen? It is going to create a Java folder under that util folder. So if you create like this package com.xyz.org. If I create package like this, then how the folder will be? It creates a folder. It creates a folder com. Under com xyz. Under xyz org. 3 folders will be created.
But package name is called com.xyz.org.
Or right. Now this is the method. This is the package name. But inside our operating system, the folder structure will be com is a folder. Under that xyz is a subfolder. Under that org is a subfolder. So you can say com. Under that xyz. Under that org. This is the folder structure. Okay, Ravi.
Okay.
Right. Now let us understand this with the example application. Let us create a package. Create a package mypack1 in my project. How to create a package is just go to Eclipse, right click on project and say new package. You can see in the list package. I'm giving the name as mypack1. Then say finish. Then see you can find a package got created. See mypack1. Okay. Now in this mypack1 I want to create a class. How to create? Let me write the document for the first time. Right click on my project and say new package. In the name give it as mypack1 and click finish. Then now create a class calculator in mypack1 package. How to create a class under packages? Like this. Right click on mypack1. We have to right click on mypack1 and say new class. See the package name is mypack1. Under that I want to create a class. So let me say calculator. Okay. Then say finish. Let us write the code. So see on the top line you can see package mypack1. Now you can in calculator class you can go with some methods like this. Public int add, which takes 2 arguments n1 and 2, and we'll say return n1 plus n2. Public int multiply, which takes two arguments n1 n2, and we'll say return n1 into n2. Some code, your wish. Let me document. How to create a class under package? Right click on my pack1 and say new class. It will ask you the name. I'm giving calculator and click finish. Now, let us create one more package now. Create a package com.mypack2. I'm saying com.mypack2 in my project. How to create a package? Just we have to say right click on my project and say new package. New package. Then it will ask you the name. Give it as com.mypack2 and click finish. Let me show this. Right click on my project and say new package. I'm giving the name as com.mypack2. I'm using dot. So dot is used for what? It will become like two folders now. Com will become one folder, under that mypack2 will become a folder. I cannot use slash symbol when you go for packages here. So we have to use dot. Then say finish. Then in this mypack2, let us create a class. Create a class calculator test in com.mypack2 package. How to create a class? Right click on com.mypack2 and say new class. Then give the name as calculator test. Make check mark to main method and click finish. Okay, so since I'm going with package for the first time, I'm documenting every word properly. Calculator test.java. This we should run. Now see here, we have created package com.mypack2. Right click on this package and say new class. See there, package name what it has shown to us. Calculator test with main method. Yeah, it's Ravi.
I just saw in the previous screen a package can a package be created inside a package?
No problem. No problem. If I right click here and mypack2, again you can say new package. No worries. We can
Okay.
create one more package. No worries.
Okay.
And say dot
So in
XYZ.
that, how does a folder be created?
So if I say dot XYZ, then XYZ will become a subfolder of mypack.
So now we'll having three com.mypackage2 xyz. Now if I see by generally, now I know that xyz is a package under com.mypackage2. But generally,
Right.
if I see this folder, how can I identify we have two packages in this? I can assume this is a single package also, right?
Yeah, package means like XYZ is a package, but belongs to which package again?
That's what. Now I know that as we are creating, I know that my package is one package and XYZ is a second package. But usually, if I create a single package with name .com my package 2.xyz, that is also single package, right?
Right.
Now
A
I need to
folder is a
I'm
package.
just
A
three
folder
folders
is
are
a package. You
created.
need to remember. 3 folders are
Okay.
created.
Okay, folder is itself is a package. Okay.
Yes, simple words to say folder means package. That's it. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Now, coming to this main method, we create object of calculator. C equal to new calculator. Then, when you create object of calculator, are you getting error here?
Yes.
Yes, right. We are getting error because calculator is a class. Belongs to which package?
MyPack1.
mypack1. So whenever I want to use a class of one package into another, what we need to do?
Import the package.
Import, right? We need to do import. So just to keep mouse pointer on this, and you can find the option import calculator from mypack1. If you just click here, the respective import will happen automatically. So simple final conclusion is, whenever you want to create a package name. Whenever you want to use a class of one package into another, import. These are the two important points over here. Then as usual coding. Then here sum equal to, by using of object of calculator, you can call add method and pass the arguments. Then by using the product equal to, by using object of calculator, call the method multiply and pass the arguments. As usual coding. Now when you run, we get sum as 30 and product as 200. Now let us see the folder structure. So we are working in D drive 2021 and our batch number is Java Online 17. Then in that I have created a folder Java programs. In that I have created my project. See now, this is the input, my project. Now see in this you can see bin folder. In bin folder, you can see all the dockless files. See, it has created a folder mypack1. So in mypack1 you can see calculator.class. And in com, see com is a folder. Under com again one more subfolder mypack2. Under that you can see calculator test.class. So every word will become a folder here. So com is also a package, you can say. mypack2 also you can say it as package. But mypack2 belongs to com folder. That's the reason we are referring like com.mypack2. Right? Some people will ask a question. Like, if I write like this, I'm just going with example. If I write import com.star, then will it take calculator test also in that? Will it take the class calculator test.class here? No. Because com.star, star indicates only dockless files. It won't choose subfolders. It won't take subfolders. So if I want to take a class from that folder, means compulsory I have to mention the package name also compulsory. Then only it will take the classes under mypack2. Now, will it take classes under com now? No. It will take only the dockless files of mypack2 folder only. Star means only dockless files. It is not related to folders here. Star means it only dockless files, not folder names. No folder names here. Clear everyone?
Yes.
Right? Any questions, anyone? Okay, so some of you have submitted the assignments, but I did not find to correct today. By tomorrow, you will get the reply of that mails. Then, coming to assignment. In the assignment, now we can do question 6. Question 6 is based on static keyword. Question 6 is based on static keyword. And question 10. Question 10, directly go to question 10. It is based on packages. If you do question 10, then you will be totally clear with package concept. Okay, just a division. A package is what? Simple words to say. Why we create folders in our system means same thing, package also in our programming. Both are same only. Okay, just to differentiate, to organize the files. That's only the need of going with packages. Nothing more complex than this. Okay, right. So in tomorrow's class, I'll be going with the next topic, inheritance. So tomorrow I'll go with inheritance and even polymorphism. Both the things we'll discuss in tomorrow's class. Right? Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.